And 3, 2, 1, boom! And we're back to another episode of Socratic Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zen Real Clothing Co. Pick up your tees at zenrealclothingco.com. Well, actually, not just tees and accessories, and hoodies, and all that good stuff. And be sure to use code SG Podcast for 20% off select items. Okay, so this is Socratic Dialogue, as we often do, but this time we're going to talk about who run the world.
Isn't that a song?
I know, I was totally, yeah. That's why I chose it, because it's so funny. Who run the world? Girls. Da-da-da-da. Girls. Yeah, I don't actually know the song. I just know it's like girls is the answer.
Yeah.
But so right now there is a, was it primaries?
Yeah, they're going on in the United States. Yes, the Democratic primaries.
Right. So, and you were saying before that oftentimes whoever's in the office right now, they usually win twice in a row.
Generally. Yeah.
Generally, okay.
Yeah, generally.
Okay, so like it's more common than not that they're gonna serve 8 years versus just 4.
By stats wise, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, statistically.
So this really came about because when Trump's impeachment stuff was happening, I thought, I was like, oh cool, he's gonna be like impeached, because they were like putting that everywhere and like, you know, social media.
Well,
and
he's
stuff.
impeached in the House. That's the technical term.
Okay. So you want to break that down? Like what?
So it has
to
mean? Pass like different stages. So it's not like only in one place. So that's why there's 3 levels to the government, right?
Okay.
And the first was the House. Then it goes to the Senate. So if it passes both of those, then yes, he would have been.
Then he's kicked out.
Yeah.
So what happened with like Nixon and stuff?
So I was reading that Nixon technically actually dropped out.
Oh, okay. So he didn't actually get impeached.
Yeah, like he would have gotten impeached, but he didn't want to go through that, so he
just left. Yeah,
because that was too much information. I guess the thing was very
scandalous.
Yeah, like it actually. I don't think he would have come back from that, so he just stepped down.
Interesting. Has anybody ever been impeached?
I don't know. I think maybe one, but I don't remember.
Okay, so it's like basically impossible.
Yeah, it's very difficult to. Yeah, like I mean, they tried on Bill Clinton, but that wasn't gonna work. So same kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, so that's so fascinating. So like all of this, it's kind of like with the coronavirus right now. Like it's being very like overhyped. You know, a lot of this stuff is just overhyped by the media, by like social media, by us ourselves. But then when you really look into it, it's like, how does this stuff really play out? And that's the whole premise behind like who runs the world. Because like, is it really the presidency who runs the world, or is it like the advisors?
Well, they are the ones who get those advisors, right? Like they hire their advisors.
Right. No, totally. But like, all right, let's say like the army general that's been there for like 20 years. He's still calling the shots.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like, like you get a revolving presidency, but is that more of like
So yeah, this is where that line comes into question. So like for instance, this is the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party right now. Okay. Which is they talk about, oh, he's like a warmonger or all this and that, right? Okay. But then he
wait, who are you talking about here? You said we. He.
Trump. Okay. When Trump sets out like the what's the thing? The budget for the army military. Well, they all said yes. Well, not all. Like there are some that say no, but most Democrats said yes.
Right. So it's like we try and it's sort of like this. It's sort of like
but they're saying they were complaining like, oh, he's a Russian asset. You don't want him having the red button or whatever. But then you're saying yes to these things, right? So it's like, here are where they do cahoots together.
Right. So I liken it to like how businesses work, right? So you have different departments and you have different like managers and like directors and all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, whoever sits in that executive director position or CEO position, it's like you are going to take all the blame. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, it's like that person's not actually like doing the small daily tasks.
No.
So, but
the big guy gets to blame. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
It all comes back to that.
It all comes down to lobbying, like for what you want. Like let's say if I wanted to run like this specific campaign in a company.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. Sometimes the one in charge, like the ED or the CEO, like they don't actually know what it is I did on that.
Yeah.
But then if it all goes to like, you know, all goes to hell, then it's like you're the one to blame.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who like will see it.
Yeah.
Or should have final say over it. But oftentimes that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's the other things too, if you remember like Succession with the scandal in the company, but then it goes back to the top. Doesn't
right?
Even if he wasn't, if he was involved or not involved, it still goes because it happened under your reign.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like the boats. So basically, in Succession, like they had this like boat that like people were, like a lot of like people were dying and like a lot of crazy stuff happened, and then like. Yeah, the CEO, even though if he didn't know about it, but they're like, yeah, how could he not know about it?
Yeah, but yeah, I know, but I mean, like,
but that's there are cases like, there would be they don't actually know, and then you know, yeah. So it's like we overly focus on the wrong person. You know, it's more of a systemic issue than a single person issue. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like complaining that like, oh, Trump's in office, but it's like, yeah, but he still has like people working for him. Like if he's not like a supreme leader, you know, like if he wants to do something, people have to be like, yeah, sure, we'll do it for you.
Right.
Like he's not actually going into like, that's what strikes are for, right? Like people go on strike, like there's a teacher strike going on right now, right? They're like, we want more money, so they're just going to strike. But if they're like, no, we'll accept this low pay, then they wouldn't go on strike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's not he might be the one to blame for it, but he's not the one executing the orders. It goes back to that whole like Nazi psychology thing, right? Like obedience to authority.
Right.
Where like it's like, okay, like Hitler's calling the shots, but these SS people are the ones like who are actually carrying out the orders.
Yeah,
I don't been like no,
but I don't blame them.
No, what do you mean?
The ones that carrying the orders.
Oh, okay.
Or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like they should be to blame. So it's like you're kind of complaining over the wrong person.
No, I don't. In that sense, like I don't really. It's the person who made the decision. I don't think it goes to.
But what I'm saying is like if you actually think it's a bad decision, then why are you doing it?
But you're not in that position. Like yeah, but like you can have opinions, but that's not. You can let drop your job or whatever, but it's like, it's not. I don't think it's that easy to do that.
But that's also why they tried these people, right? Like for war crimes.
Yeah, but not the soldiers necessarily.
I think they did.
No, in position I believe it was the ones in high ranking.
Okay, positions. Yeah, but still, it's
and technically,
right. It's the same thing. That's basically the same thing. You're just like where you're drawing the line. You're basically just drawing the line at a higher level.
Yeah,
but it's the exact
like
same thing.
And whatnot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean. It's like you're blaming one thing when you should turn the finger towards yourself. You know. Yeah. But then it goes on a deeper level where you start talking about like money and politics, which is what. But this is how like it's always been. You know, you see it in Game of Thrones, you see it in like international trade deals. It's really the corporations that are funding these countries and politicians. You know, to do their work. It's like. It's like I'm going to give you $40 million for your campaign, and I'm going to promise you speaking deals, right? Because like after the presidencies are like done, they have to go on like speaking tours at these big corporations, and we're going to pay you like crazy sums of money just to speak for an hour. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you grease my pockets, I'll grease your wheels.
Yeah, so that's been happening a long time, but generally it wasn't like that, right? At first.
Okay, but see, but then it brings the question like, who runs the world?
Yeah, so I know.
Is it the one in charge, or is it like the system? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're blaming one thing, but we should blame the whole thing. You know?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. But I guess that's why people feel like it's not working anymore. Right? They don't trust the government, right?
Right, totally. Yeah. But what I think is like I don't even think it's possible to like run it any other way, because it'll always end up falling under the same issue.
I think things do end up getting corrupt, but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
There will be times where it does
what was
get
that,
better.
What was that Dark Knight line? Live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
Right, it's true. It's like it's always starts off good, but then like somewhere along the line it'll, like the founding fathers, they had great intentions of like starting America. Like the actual idea of America is amazing.
But they said
like
also
freedom, like all that, and like we're gonna govern not by the rule of like kings and gods.
Right.
You know, we're gonna use logic to like govern things, and then it just became corrupted.
Well, they also explained how it was gonna get corrupted.
How?
With money in politics.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So they knew.
They knew.
Yeah, like a special interest.
Yeah. They had some similar, like it's very interesting to see. Like they kind of knew like what could happen like to cause the corruption, but then that's why they created those different systems that it could potentially also try to fix itself. Not fix itself, but like have a way to fix it too.
Right. To like set it on the correct course again.
Yeah. Well, again, they're also humans who made these things, so sometimes you don't really think about what happens in the future, right? You don't know everything.
That's true. Yeah, they didn't know about the internet.
Yeah. So, in some ways, the internet is actually good in that way, because I think it would have just been going on the way it is.
We would have just been blind to it. Yeah, but that goes back into the thing about people saying that we're entering into a state of enlightenment, like not because of the internet, but like cyclically, like historically, like if you follow that like that woo woo stuff, you know, they're like, oh, we're entering the age of Pisces, which is the age of enlightenment, some crap like that. But what?
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just like they make it like very like we're entering in a period of where we're going to become awakened because the moon has aligned with Pisces and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But if you actually think about it, like the internet has provided us that source of enlightenment.
Yeah.
So maybe we are entering that stage, and like I'm making fun of it, but it's like
no, I
really what's going on, you know?
Yeah,
but not because of like the star alignments, but it's because of the internet.
I think it's the internet.
You know?
It's the internet.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course, the internet.
Yeah.
It's the access to the information that we would not have had. Like the things that we are learning about are very
high level.
Yeah, but not main. They don't really talk about it in the mainstream too, right?
Yeah, I can't. I literally can't even watch news anymore. I don't watch news anymore because it seems so like all right. So right now, like, there's a whole thing about like, actually, I'll take Corona for example.
Sure.
So, they're all like making this big deal, whatever. But it's like it's really not that bad. Like, what is it? 5 cases
in Canada.
Yeah. So, why is everyone wearing a mask? You know what I mean? Like, you think this 5 people are gonna somehow get to you? Like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, I guess
these 5 quarantine people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like, but again, going back to like who run the world, marketing. So it's like, okay, well, we can. I swear, like, there's I swear I saw like I don't know if it was like a Gucci mask or something, but
I think like the thing is fear sells, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what that
totally.
is.
Yeah.
And people...
We sell some products.
Yeah. I mean, all the masks are sold out, right?
Yeah. All the masks are sold out. And another thing is like Y2K, like all of the canned goods were sold out. You know, all the bottles of water got sold out. Like it's almost like every 5 years we come up with like a mass extinction idea in order to make us all purchase more products.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a problem in China, but yeah.
Yeah, totally, but not here.
No,
and yet so many people wear masks.
Yeah,
like, what? Yeah. Why? It's almost become like a fashion statement.
Well, I don't. Yeah, like I think I don't know if it's there. I mean, there are masks for fashion. But I think it's just more people are. I think it's just a fear. Like people don't get all the information, or they read just the headlines, and the headlines seem very scary.
Yeah, totally.
And then they fall for that kind of thing, right? But if you read more into it, it's like the cases are still very low outside of China, and it's only mainly in China. So, but then the increase of racism starts.
Yeah, that's the other. That's like a big thing that's going on right now. Yeah. Like the restaurant called Wuhan.
Yeah. But yeah,
like what do you think that somehow because it's called this like?
Yeah. I mean, but
it's funny that's even a marketing thing there.
Yeah,
that's
like
it's just like like man, just change your name, Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, like going back to the politics thing is just that, like, I want to see, because most people run their campaign with those big money donations, right?
Right, totally.
And we're having, well, he's running for the second time, but we're having someone that's actually, it's not just him now. There's more. Even Andrew Yang.
Okay.
And Tulsi Gabbard, and I believe I'm not sure if there's any others, but they ran their campaign with raising like small donations from people. So.
But see, okay, what I'm thinking is this though. So even at that level, like, all right, sure, you take money out of politics, all out of like political donations. Okay, so that's one of the big hot button issues right now. It's like, oh, corporations are funding these politicians. Okay, let's say that's gone, but still, you're gonna go into office and you're gonna be like, oh wait, trade deals.
Yeah.
So you've solved one issue, but you haven't solved the real issue. Like we're all overly focusing on still an incomplete issue. It's not the fact that there's money being paid to these politicians. It's the fact that when you get in, you're going to see how things are interwoven and interconnected.
Yeah.
And you can't undo those things.
Technically, yes, because that's what Trump ran on and that's why he won, right?
No. Right. No, I'm saying you can't undo the trade deals that are in place. You can, but what are the cause and effect?
Yeah, but that's what Trump did, right?
What do you mean? I understand.
Like that was why NAFTA was changed, right?
Okay.
Because he ran on that same thing of trade deals. These trade deals are bad for us.
Okay.
So that's why also Trump was put into that position to figure out a trade deal, right? Okay. You can do a trade deal, but do it in a way that also protects the workers here. So a lot of those trade deals, what happened was it was more beneficial to the businesses than the people that were here living in that country.
Okay, so Trump fixed that?
Yeah, so a lot of those things that he's adding those...
So you're saying he did something good?
Yeah, I think there is some things that he's doing good, but like I would look into like how good are those decisions?
Totally.
Like how... maybe there's better ideas. Maybe he didn't have good ideas, but he ran on things that were what people wanted to talk about, like or to deal with.
I'm more highlighting the fact that Trump did something good, and we never talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I think like okay, so there was an audio that got leaked of I don't know when this audio was taken or said, but it was Trump saying that if he had chosen if Hillary had chosen Bernie. He would have had a tougher time winning because he said in his own words that he's worse, like he's worse than him on trade deals, meaning Bernie's better than him figuring out like Bernie is really? He said that.
Wow. Okay.
And he didn't know, I guess he was recorded, so it was funny.
So see, it's funny because like what's his name, Eddie Bravo, he's very into conspiracies and stuff, right? And like he was like, everyone's like hating on Trump and stuff, but then he was talking about like we don't focus on the good that he's done. Right. And I was like, well, what do you mean? But like, because everyone's so focused on like, oh, he's a misogynist and whatever, but it's like, but he also fixed this incorrect trade deal that was affecting workers here.
Well, yeah, I don't know how well he fixed it. I would have to talk to whoever knows more about that.
Totally.
But he was doing something that people wanted, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So like adding those things, for instance, on China, those
tariffs.
Wait,
hold on.
So technically, those tariffs do help.
Actually, this is kind of funny when you think about it. So, countries are run like companies, right? They're like just giant businesses.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what it is. That's what trade deals are. That's what like negotiations are.
Yeah.
And yet we always choose in a presidency non-business people. So the first time
I don't know. Actually, no. Actually, I think we talked about it before.
What?
I don't know if it's beneficial to necessarily
understand
put
business?
someone. No. Put someone in business. You can have people in those positions who know more about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but if you're calling the shots,
I feel like government is more about services and not necessarily that.
Okay.
Only business is what I'm saying. It's also about services to the people, right?
Yeah, but in business you have to think about that too. That's HR.
Yeah, but not everyone's a HR position, right?
No. What I'm saying is like you need to have some understanding of business. But if you have like
okay, so I wasn't thinking in the sense that I don't think HR
like,
necessarily business. I think of like CEOs as business, right? Like.
Oh, right, no. I
didn't mean it like that.
I'm saying a country is run like a company.
Okay, yeah,
right?
You have to have
benefits,
all those people.
Services,
right?
What are we offering the general public,
right?
The general world,
yeah.
which is like different countries. What are we offering other countries in terms of trade?
Yeah.
How much are we spending
of course.
in relation?
And it's about jobs, right? The main thing about all these candidates is jobs.
So you're right.
So,
but all these people that are running don't understand how to run their own business. I think we just cracked it here. This is actually what the real issue is. It's like these people who are in positions of power don't understand economics. Well, maybe they understand economics because that's more of like a higher level thought, but like they don't understand how to run a business. So it would make sense because you're like, oh, he changed it in favor of the people. It's like, yeah, because he understands how businesses would be run. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we need a person in power who is a business person, somebody who's, intelligent, somebody who's Andrew Yang. Honestly, I listened to his podcast on Joe Rogan and I was like, this is actually like smart, where he's like, we're just gonna name a bridge.
Yeah.
We're gonna name a bridge, like the Telus Bridge. And then
yeah.
in order for you to keep the name Telus, you gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
And then the money you pay to us is what money we'll give back to the people. That makes so much logical sense because you're a business person.
Yeah, no.
We need
in a lot of
in
things,
power who are business people.
I mean, that's why he's still up there on the debates, right? He's the one that's the outside candidate that has been doing pretty decent.
In his, and Ronnie Chang, I forgot his name. Ronnie Chang, the comedian. He's like, we need an Asian in politics. Why? Because we just want stuff to work. Right. Like we don't care about your racism and like all this. We just want it to work. Right. And that sounds like how Andrew Yang is focusing on. It's like,
actually,
what is the best solution?
I do like Andrew Yang in a lot of things. What he had said
Andrew Yang's my boy. Get him, Andrew Yang.
I mean, he's really hitting his point of $1,000 a month. Right?
That's great though. Like
no, it is good.
Universal basic income, basically.
Yeah.
Retirement. Yeah.
So, but there are debates around other things that he has said, if those are good or not, right? But again, we're just people that are just thinking about ideas, right? And in general, in the general thing, I think he's actually pretty decent.
Yes. Okay. That's my boy.
But he's still pretty low in the polls.
But all I'm saying is that we need a business person in charge. Because if it is truly run like a business, which it is, there's no denying that. Why are you gonna have like a philosopher? I have a philosophy degree. I don't like, come on, bro. Like, you understand how this stuff works. You understand how it works, like theoretically. Or
right. You want someone that has experience, real world
objectivity.
Experience.
Actually, this brings me back to one of the reasons why I really wanted to get a job too, and I'm so happy I got a job, is because I was so into the spiritual world for so long, yoga, martial arts, and I was deep into it.
Yeah.
And then I was always but the the Tao, like yin and yang. You need to understand both sides of the coin to understand the totality of the situation. I was so like in one direction, I didn't understand the other direction. So in getting a job, I fully understand the other well, I mean, like I'm only like not even 2 years in, but like
right.
But like now I understand it. I'm like, oh wait, this is actually not as bad as us spiritual people were saying. So it's kind of like that. It's like if you take a politician who's too airy-fairy, you need to bring him with some like business, some like understanding of like how things are really run. You know. And spending time with different people is like so beneficial. When I was in like the spiritual world of like yoga martial arts, like all I'd spend my time was with yoga martial arts people. So I was in a vacuum. So I was like, oh yeah, everyone thinks like me. And I started going to parties outside of my circle. And then I was like, oh, these people don't care at all about yoga martial arts. They care about like providing for their families, like going on vacations to Cancun, all this stuff.
And those are the people that are voting. Those are the ones who.
But at the same time, it's like I hadn't even conceived this. I was in a vacuum. So like in spending time with other people that don't think like you realize like, oh, only I think this way. But this is the problem with politicians, where it's like if you spend all your time in the political sphere of just like dictating things in a theoretical manner where it's idealistic and like if everything works out, this is how it would go. But it's like people who are in business, who actually run businesses to make them work, they understand like, no, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the traditional politician doesn't understand this.
Well, the traditional politician
doesn't have a business degree.
No, they're doing the bidding of the corporations that have paid them, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Which are not necessarily beneficial to the people.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why.
Makes sense there.
That's why there's a change happening over there. That's why the ones who are popular are the ones who ran against that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's how Trump ran. That's why. Like, people have to understand why Trump won, and it's not because he's sexist or it's not like everyone thought or racist or whatever. No, they
were just tired.
They voted for him because they needed something different.
Yeah, it was tired of the status quo.
Yeah, and actually one of the main things like
it was like a big middle finger to like the establishment.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. And it's not like anything like the whole Americas or half of America is this way. No, they wanted it.
That's true. Actually, that's really insightful.
I think that's what people have to think about. That's why Bernie Sanders is popular. That's why Andrew Yang is popular. That's why these other guys that are running their campaign way differently are very popular. But there's still in the Democratic side, there's still a very older segment of people that are still do think the other way, but they're more on the older age group.
Yeah, you can see them, the conservative kind of like.
Yeah, that don't they got used to those ways that was done before.
That's true. That's true, because if you look at the debates right now, like Bernie and like Andrew Yang and like Tulsi Gabbard, it's like they're all and all of them have been on Joe Rogan. Yeah. And then they
all of them. Yeah, and then they complain about Joe Rogan. They attack him. No, but like most of America is like Joe Rogan, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and that's another thing. You shouldn't. If you because they talk about unity, but they're talking about only within the party. That's like you have to be unity within the country. It's like, why you got to hate on each other? It's like there are a lot of things that are very similar that everyone needs to deal with. Yeah. Right. That's where those common things should be there, and that's why. Even though like Trump or even though Bernie's says he's like a socialist or a socialist Democrat, there was back in 2016 in those interviews there was people that would have voted for him even on the Republican side because they a lot of times they don't trust the politicians anymore. They don't believe them. They know that they're lying, and they felt like at least with Bernie Sanders that we know what we're getting with him because he's just speaking always the truth.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can say one thing, but if you're beholden to the corporations that have paid you, then that's why they don't trust you anymore. That's why a lot of things. That's why it's like 40% of people don't vote in America because they don't trust the system. So how do you win? So you have to bring those people into the game again, into the voting. That's how you can bring somewhat change, and that's what these guys are trying to do.
But then corporations are like, how do I buy them?
By who? The politicians?
These ones that are like outside the.
So that's the thing. Yeah, that's why you can see like how they attack Bernie and how they're like doing all this because he's very
anti-establishment.
Yeah, but what's the like? He's very like he's in his ways, right? He'll follow his like what's that? There's like
set in his way.
Yeah, but there's an actual like phrase or something like that, like or a word for that. But like yeah, he's set in his ways. Like it's hard to change it because he's been like that for so many years.
Right.
And he's been voting the same way for so many years. So so like he's been that way.
So there's no
so it's very it's very difficult to I think even by him.
Interesting.
So that's why it's
almost like when you put somebody with fresh eyes into the system, they're gonna point out all the flaws, and that's what they're afraid of. Yeah. Because they're like, wait, you could just realize that I'm doing a bad job.
So I think it was in the recent debate where, because Buttigieg is somewhat, somewhat in second place, I guess. But like he's been like, the way he brought it up is like, his campaign is run by like 40 billionaires who have paid Buttigieg, wow. And then, but then the amount of money that Sanders is making is a lot, and these are all from just people like normal people, averaging out at $18.
What?
Averaging at $18 per person. Yeah. So it's like it's interesting how
it's really telling you where things are going.
Yeah.
Like which way the votes are going to sway.
And generally, also by stats, who wins elections are the ones with the most money.
Right.
Generally, yeah.
Interesting.
So it's very interesting to see how the like attacks are happening between the establishment and the new people.
It's funny because like there is definitely this change happening, and then there's also this like side where people don't see it. I mean like like other people, like when I was saying before, people didn't know about like the Neuralink or what's happening with SpaceX or like all that stuff. It's like you can get into these vacuums, like I was with the yoga martial arts, like you get into vacuums and like not know any of this stuff. So it's like if you have your finger on the pulse, you could see where everything's turning. Yeah. But if you don't, then it's like you're just hoping for a prayer. Yeah. You know.
But also, like, I think even Bernie says it too. It's like even if as you pick the politician, it's like it's not necessarily like everything can be done, because you need to have it's like everyone has to be involved technically. Right? Okay. That's the way he's running his campaign. It's like we have to. Because to pass things, it's not like that easy to pass. So you have to elect people that are correct for those positions that you want, right?
It's so fun. It's funny. It's funny because like
because he generally says in those debates, it's like, no, it has to be a collective. We have to all do that.
Right.
Like,
totally. Yeah.
If even if you just pick, say you just put in Bernie, but then his other Democratic
don't want to do it. Yeah, they can't execute.
Are part of the establishment. Then it's going to be very difficult to.
Yeah, 100%. It's so funny because like again, this is like very much like business, because like in my own personal experience, I've seen things like this happen in businesses where it's like you need the correct people around you, or else you're not going to get anything done. Yeah. You could have the greatest idea. You're like, we should get this done, but then if nobody knows how to execute on it, then. Well, it's not going to move anywhere.
Right.
You know? But the way I feel is like, I don't know, maybe this is like my martial arts mentality, but it's like, if you're higher than me, I'm going to do what you say. Because, like, or if I don't want to do it, then why am I in that job? You know, I feel like people are motivated by job security.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
And like, they don't want to be found. What I'm like really finding is that people are, one, motivated by job security, and two, they don't want to be found out that they're incompetent at their jobs. You know, and like,
see, this is I think this is where, what's his name, Andrew Yang's, where he debates in here, would say like, see, the universal basic income would then give you the freedom to then go where you want to go, right?
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
So this is where he wins these arguments with this kind of idea.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like bringing it back to martial arts, it's like I guess I got that mentality of like
I think he was saying, it was funny in the recent one, he's like we like this will help out people that are like who work who are like a daycare person at home. like not in daycare, like a mom that works at home or takes care of the kids at home. Sorry.
Right.
So like covers them, and then he made a joke where it's like it's also like for artists, because most artists don't make a lot of money, don't make money. So here's a way to also be able to do what you need or want to do, and then
that's true. You'd have more people focusing on what it is that they're great at, and then you'll just get great things. It's funny because like well, I'm gonna finish this thought first, and then I'll move on to the other one. Yeah. But like the martial arts mentality, where it's like you can't hold that rank if you're not at that level. So like I often get told like, oh, you're really good at that, or like whatever. I'm like, but to me it's confusing when I hear that. I'm like, are you saying you're not? Like, why are you in that job then? You know what I mean? Because it's like,
right,
of course I'd be good at it because this is my job. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't hold that rank if I can't execute on it. I shouldn't be a black belt if I can't do all the black belt things. I shouldn't be in this job role if I don't have education experience or the ability to execute on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense to me. But this is how our world is run. A bunch of people like with jobs that they're focused on job security and being found out that they're phony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so going back to the whole universal basic income thing, in the Incas in Peru, they were one of the most advanced not advanced, like the happiest civilization. But the reason why is because everyone could eat. They had so much food that like you could feed 4 people per one or something like that.
Right.
Like they just had so much food.
Yeah.
So if your food, cost of living, your shelter, if food, water, shelter.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, if you achieve all of those things, the last thing is self-actualization. Right. So it's like, what do you want to do with your life? Right? And I feel like that's why universal basic income and why Andrew Yang's opinions are great.
That sounds very like socialist, what you just said.
What?
So.
What I just said?
Yeah.
About like, yeah, totally, yeah. I don't think socialism is wrong. I just think
I know, yeah.
We have a leader. Everybody wants to be, all right, so like people are like, oh, I want like socialists are bad, right? Communists are bad, right? Yeah. But it's like, but you don't realize you're in the exact same system. They're just not telling you it's that system.
Yeah.
Because you're not making the decisions, but somebody else is.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like in America, like that term socialism, I think it's changing, but it was like a bad term. But like a lot of things that's why I said communism.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's but also a bad term.
Yeah, it's like, but a lot of things that they do already inside the country are
very communist and socialist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't realize you're eating your vegetables because they put sugar on it.
Yeah.
You know. Right. And then but what's funny is if you look at like communism and socialism, that's how kings and kingdoms were run.
Yeah.
That's what a totalitarian government is. You're run by one king.
Like,
if you look at our history, that's how we've always lived.
That's generally true. Yeah, because it's like, how do you
govern a bunch of people that don't understand what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Some people don't care enough to understand what's going on. So why are you going to penalize them for not knowing? Just let me live my life, bro. Give me my $1,000 a month.
I mean, so you can tell. Yeah, you can see from history, like what happened in France. Like, there's no more of that monarch system because they weren't taking care of their people. What did? They revolted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So true. So you just need good governments.
Yeah.
But it's like, you need good people to create good governments.
Yeah. Right people for the right job.
But then that goes back to what I'm saying about a lot of frauds out there who are like, they're focused on job security and being found out that they're phony.
Yeah.
Right people for the right job. That's what you need. Like, if you literally can't do this job, I really don't think you should be here. You know?
Yeah.
It's not like a negative thing. Like, I don't want you to lose your job security. Like, but you're forcing my hand.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it can't be all freaking kumbaya, bro. Like.
Yeah, no.
But that's what I learned, right? Through like getting an actual job and leaving the whole like spiritual world, because like when you're like obsessed with like the yoga martial arts spirituality, they always tell you it's like kumbaya, we all gotta like live together in love. But it's like, but then the world won't work.
Yeah.
You know? You need the negativity for positivity to exist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I wonder what it's gonna be like if like everyone gets like universal basic income, people live we're just gonna have like an artistic society.
Yeah.
We went to escape games yesterday.
Right.
So who's gonna run escape games? You know what I mean? Like, unless like the person's obsessed with escape games. They're like,
right.
But remember the guy that like checked us in? I was like, you actually like your job. I could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that guy who was like so chipper and happy?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like maybe he would actually be working.
Right. Right. I mean, there's it's also a perspective. Depends on how you look at your job. If you just look at it as
but the thing is, I don't self-identify with my job.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, when you do your job, you're doing it right. You're not. I'm saying, like, with some respect, or like, if you don't really care about your job, you're gonna not give a shit.
Yeah, that's true. I feel that.
Right. So like those
because
sort of
you're
things,
focused on job security, you're not being found out to be a phony.
Yeah.
So you're not the right person for the right job.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Wow, cracking the codes of the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
See, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's systemic. Like when we're like, who run the world? Well, the funny thing is, we all run the world.
Yeah.
Because we all play our part, right?
Yeah.
And if you have the wrong person for the wrong job, I mean, if you don't have the right person, I guess that is correct. If you have the wrong person in the wrong job, then that's why you get broken systems.
Yeah. That's how all things are. Yeah. I mean, think about. I mean, it goes to everything, right? Not. It's like.
So maybe it's not who run the world; it's businesses. Maybe we run the world because we are a part of these businesses. Because we are the world.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like there is no one ruler. It's like an aggregate system of confused people moving from one thing to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Focused on fear instead of love. Is it wickedness or weakness? Damn.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
It's Tupac 2.0.
Mm.
But you know what I'm saying though, because if you're focused on fear, right? If fear is your primary motivator, which is like, I need job security because I'm afraid, and I don't want to be found to be a phony because I'm afraid, then you have the wrong people for the wrong job.
Right.
But if you focus on things you love, so it's like, I'm really obsessed with X, then I'm going to get a job in X.
Right.
Then you're going to have the right person for the right job. We're going to have like a lubricated system, you know? We're going to run smoothly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year.
Yeah, that's true.
In America.
Do you think, well, yeah, big corporation. I feel like in the future, it's just going to come down to like 4 corporations that run everything. So like Coke.
I mean, yeah.
You know, like the Coca-Cola company bought Pepsi.
Yeah.
So now like you think that there's Coke versus Pepsi. It's like, haha, fun fact. We're getting all of the money.
Right.
You know, I think at the end of the day, it's like, I think that's what they're doing. They're putting
I mean, technically, a lot of it is like that. Yeah. You don't even realize it's under one, but it looks like many, right?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot what they called that. Not an umbrella corporation.
Oh. Well, even Amazon's trying to do that. So Amazon's probably going to be one of those.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we're going to see things like it would be really funny if you looked at like Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO, and you're like, oh wow, these are like separate systems, but then you find out that it's one streaming service that's actually running all 3.
Right. Yeah. In some ways, it happens like that. You'll have multiples at first, and then some do good. Right, that will survive.
Yeah,
and some don't, and that won't survive.
So they have those actually. Like that's what. So the simplest example is like Coca-Cola, right? You see, like root beer. Like what are some like? You see Crush. Name some pops. Mountain Dew, Crush. Brisk. Yeah, right. So you see all those, right? Yeah. But then it's actually owned by the Coca-Cola company, so they have like a diversified set of products.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like one parent company.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be in the future. Like there's going to be a bunch of small businesses and very few multinational corporations. I honestly believe small business is the future, man, because you can control everything.
No, generally it is. Small business is what runs America.
And it's also what runs Canada. Saying that
the country,
like 80% of Canada is like small businesses. It's like fascinating. You're like, wow, all right.
Yeah, I mean it's in a lot of places, of course. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, big corporations, they make a lot of money. That's why they can take over.
Because they're multinational.
Yeah, so that's why they can buy out politicians. So then they get what they want, but it doesn't help those small businesses.
Totally, yeah. I agree.
So,
So, just flipping gears, like, how's Canada doing? Like, we're so. That's how you know, like, the pageantry of like the American political system that it happens for like 2 years before the voting even happens. But like in Canada, it's like
because it's so long. I guess that's why.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, it's such pageantry.
Here, it's like it shows up for like 2 months,
and it's like, oh, we're
your
voting.
president or prime minister here. And that's it. It's done.
I remember that, when they were like, oh, don't forget to vote. I'm like, when did they even start debating? And they're like, oh, they're doing it right now. And I was like, what?
Our process is very quick.
Yeah, very quick. It's like, yeah, 2 months.
America, I was like, what? America has that. I mean, I think it's because of the way America was built, so that they built this sort of thing in there, within it.
Oh, because they knew that pageantry sells?
No, like just politics in general is what people want. They want their people to be thinking about, like
politics.
Yeah,
I guess, but it's like I feel like nobody.
No,
really
but like
cares.
and it's just inevitable that it would get corrupted too, right? It's just what we do.
I feel like nobody really cares about politics if you take away the pageantry.
I think what happened. Yeah, so the thing that happened.
No, if you really think about it, right? Like
right.
the town hall debates and all that. They're only 60-second spiels.
No, they're not town hall. Those are just debates.
You know what I'm saying?
Debates, yeah. It depends on how many people are on stage, but yes, that is what happens.
Yeah.
But once it cuts down to like 2-3 people, then you have a bit more of a actual, like you can actually listen to what they're saying, and does it make sense or not?
But at the same time, like America is the global stage. Like we're playing Call of Duty right now, right? For you who are listening on iTunes, and it's like. This was made in America.
Yeah.
You know, like culture is bred in America.
Yeah.
Global culture, right? So it's like you can't bite the hand that feeds. That's how I always look at it. You know, that's the dualistic Taoist perspective. You can't bite the hand that feeds. It's like you hate on something, but at the same time you're using that something.
Yeah, no, you can, yeah. But there's always ways to make it better, right? I think that's the idea. Because if you look at the way
incremental progress.
Yeah, if you look at where America was a long time ago, it's not what it is now.
Totally. So, but what I'm saying is, I look at that with everything because, like, so I went to that Winterlicious, right? I was showing you the pictures of like the spare ribs, right, and like they were marinated for 12 hours and something like that, right? But then like at the end of it, it was like there's like a burning coal keeping it warm underneath, right? And then I was like, shout out to fossil fuels, you know what I mean? Like, because we're burning coal,
right?
But it's like, can't bite the hand that feeds. If you like the taste of this thing, like accept the fact that it was shipped here through trucks. That was probably animal slaughter. We're using coal to keep this thing warm. You like this video game? Yeah, it's coming with plastic, and plastic's killing the environment. Yes, we understand this. You know, and then that's only on like a physical level. But then what about like then people start getting into arguments of like, what about the psychological damage of killing people in these video games? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, where do you draw the line, bro? Can't bite the hand that feeds. Like the game, cool. Leave it at that. You like the game. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
I think generally the people that are playing the game are not thinking that. So
that's the other point. It's like nobody cares. Like most people don't care. Oh, climate change? That's cool, bro.
No, because it's
to level 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean most people don't care because they're not worried. Like they're not thinking about these sort of things, right? It's not something that.
But that's the thing about politics. It's like, it's ironic that like we care so much about ripping on a president. Yet we don't care enough to like really get involved in politics. You know, there's so many famous jokes of like
but like I don't know like how many, like what are the actual numbers?
No, but what I'm saying is like there's this Joe Rogan joke where it's like he's like, yo, politics. He's like, we need to change the establishment. We gotta do all this, and then it's like, oh, did you vote? Like, no, voting don't work. So it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, biting the hand that feeds.
Well, if they say that, then I generally are there people that do that say all that don't vote?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, a lot of
then I don't know. Then I don't know why they're talking. Then they shouldn't be talking.
Yeah, like, but that's a big thing, right? Everyone's got an opinion on a president. or like a world leader, you know, whether it be like a prime minister in Canada or whatever. Everyone's got an opinion, but it's like nobody's looking to fix it. We just want to complain.
Right.
It's like, just make it better. Or how? I don't know. Just make it better.
Right.
Like, dude, you don't understand the intricacies of what's going on. That's why who run the world, bro?
Girls.
You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
It's like you need to focus on like the bigger issues. Like, oh man, it's making my brain hurt. You know? If you're listening to this and you couldn't even, you're like, oh, I can't listen to all this. Like, it's too deep for me. Well, there's the problem right there. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you can't even ask these questions. Like you shouldn't have a say if you can't think about it. That's funny because, like, you know, sometimes I think I voted this year, but like whenever I don't vote, my parents like, oh, did you vote? I'm like, I don't know anything about what's going on. Like, I feel like I shouldn't vote because I didn't look into it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or it becomes like a political, it becomes like a familial thing. It's like, vote for this person because they blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. You know, sure.
Right.
It'll all work itself out, you know?
Yeah.
Unless there's something like so stark, like if you vote for this person, we're going to lose, we're going to get like a 50% increase in our gas prices. And I'd be like, I'm not voting for that guy. You know, unless there's something like so stark that you want to vote against it. I feel like everyone's the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like right now there's like the teacher strike, right? And everyone's like, oh, it's because Rob Ford's in office, and like, or is it Rob Ford?
Yeah.
You know, and like, you hear that all the time, right? Because when the conservatives are in power, then we're gonna watch out for our teacher money. I'm like, is that true?
I don't know. I don't have to look at
that. I don't know. Like,
true,
is that true, or is that bro science?
Yeah.
You know, are you just saying that, or is there like statistical data that shows you that this is what's happening? And if there is statistical data, you should have lobbied harder. You know, did you go out and canvass for your position? No, you probably just voted. You know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line? Like, when do you push yourself further? Like, how much do you believe in this cause?
Right.
Do I believe in it enough to go canvass a place and petition people to vote for my candidate, or do I want to go to the movies tonight?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd rather go to the movies. Okay, so you don't care that much.
Yeah.
We make time for what we care about most.
For me, it's just entertainment. I don't know why.
Because it's like you see the silliness of the play. It's just a play.
Yeah, like I know what's the right way, but I want to see what people do, because what do they fall for? What kind of tricks works on that?
But that's why I don't watch the news, because it's like all right, so like there's a lot of gun activity in Toronto right now. I'm like, is there more now, or are you just reporting on it now? You know what I mean? Like, because I know gang violence has been going on for so long. But are you just reporting on it more now to create fear in us? Right.
Well, you can actually look at the stats of how many gun deaths have happened year to year, right? Year over year.
Yeah. Okay. And
I don't know myself. I have to look at it if it's
increased or decreased. But those are the only ones that have been reported too, right? It's another thing. It's like,
what do you mean reported? Reported on the news?
No. I mean like the gun deaths, right? But what about shootings in general? Is that they might not have died.
Yeah, no, you can get all those kinds of records.
Like how many shootings have happened?
Yeah.
But only if it's been reported.
Reported to the police?
Police, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But some people don't report these things. You just hear it, and it's like, oh, it's a gunshot again.
No, I mean, like, you report it, yeah, but you gotta, if you got hit, you gotta go to the, like...
No, all right. But let's say they don't get hit. Let's say just gun violence happens.
Oh, like that, yeah.
There's just been a shootout.
Right.
And you don't report it. It's like, well, that was ignored. You know what I mean? Like, you're only looking at that.
But generally, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But, like, generally...
I don't believe in statistics either, like data, unless it's like... Unless a scientist is telling me how the data is affecting something. If I'm presented with statistics... like marketed statistics.
No, you have to look at where those statistics are coming from, of course.
Yeah. Like what are where did
I think there's a place for statistics, but you got to look at who is doing those stats.
All right, so I was in class one time when I was studying PR, and then they were like this. They had this special guest came in. I was like such a shit disturber. Just it's funny to me. So like there's this person who gave a presentation. They were like selling. They were doing a campaign for like texting and driving kills more people.
Right.
Right. So I was like, it's like, who funded the study? And they're like, oh, we funded our own study. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, what consisted of the test? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, we had this person driving around a racetrack, and like we would they'd be on their phone, and then we'd just throw things onto the road and see how fast they could react to it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is that conclusive though? Like, you know, like, is this the best way to study that thing? But it's like, you're presenting your findings, which you funded, in a specific manner in order to say something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, in order to make a statement true, we need to show statistics behind it.
Yeah.
But rather than doing an objective study, like scientific study, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With like clinical, like double-blind placebo, that kind of stuff, right? Like, like really hammering it home. If you just do like a test where it's like, I'm just going to throw stuff on the road.
Is that the best way to get?
And it's like, did you throw them at
how did you
intervals?
Angle?
Yeah. Was the intervals the same with a person with and without?
Yeah. So those I mean, that sounds.
Was it the same driver? Because there's so many errors. Yeah. Was it the same driver? Because the driver might have known when things were going to pop out. Maybe one driver's not as good as the other driver. Mm-hmm. You know, all these things come into play. So it's like you can't really account for all of the variables.
I mean, yeah, that's why you have to look into like how these studies are done.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Yeah,
like, and who's running these studies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things like getting involved now. Like but there is a lot of merit to stats, generally.
But I agree. Yeah, but it's like who's doing these stats?
Yeah,
or how are you even framing the question to the person? Like, I don't believe in surveys. When people are like, oh, we're going to use surveys to gather data on our audience, right? That's a very common marketing thing. I have to deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but the way you write the survey is what's going to dictate.
Yeah, what kind of type of question did you? How are you framing the question? Yeah.
And who are you asking that question to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this is a thing that talking about that too. What I was reading recently, because Joe Biden did really, really badly in Iowa.
Okay.
And the question came into like, because the polls showed a different kind of number, and generally, who do the polls are older people, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So,
because most people are just being like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Most of our age don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, no, this poll's not going to work.
Yeah. So, it's funny to see them actually now like realizing, oh wait, this isn't representative.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's not representative. It's not correct, but we're reporting on it because it'll make us look better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it was interesting to see that.
I won't give away the exact thing, but I worked on something where like we were asking these questions to these people.
Yeah.
And we got like, we're like, oh, our marketing campaign wasn't working. Right. But then when I was like, well, what are you asking? And then we found out that they were asking the person that wasn't even affected by the marketing campaign. So when we got back 0 results is because we were asking the person that didn't even see the marketing campaign.
Right.
So it's like, so why didn't you ask the person who actually would have seen it? But like, well, we didn't think about that. And it's like, wrong person for the wrong job. See what I'm saying? Like,
right.
This is what our lives are built on.
Yeah.
It's like you got the wrong person who's guessing when you should ask the person who has an actual like education and experience in this.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, but that's who run the world, silly people. Who run the world? People in the wrong position for the wrong job.
Right.
Because they are afraid to lose their job by being found out that they're phony.
Right. Yeah.
And when we run a world that's based off of fear, as opposed to people who love what they do, then you're going to get the wrong people for the wrong job, which results in the wrong style of system.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you have the right people for the right job who love their jobs, you're going to have a system that's perfect, because all people want to do is just make that thing the best that they can do, rather than just going home because of a paycheck.
Right.
Or like happy over their paycheck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good summary. All right. So, what are your final thoughts? If we have universal basic income,
if you're from New Hampshire, go out vote Tuesday.
There you go. And my final thought is, if we had universal basic income, we'd have more people in the right job for the right thing, right. The right person for the right job. Yeah. If we had universal basic income.
Right.
Because you just get people like, nah, I don't want to do that job, bro. I'm getting enough money.
Right.
You know, people who are really passionate about wanting to see change, they'll actually go get a job. It's almost like if everyone had universal basic income, the only people with jobs would be people who are excellent at their jobs, because they'd go out of their way to be like, you know what? Let me see if we can change this for the better. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to being like, oh man, I just graduated university, now I gotta go get a job. I'll get any job because I just want to live for the weekend.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then if we all had universal basic income, then everyone would be like, man, I don't want that job. You know? And then only the person's like, I could probably make that better.
Right.
They'll get a real job. The only people that should have jobs are people that want to have jobs.
Yeah.
Right? In a perfect society.
Yeah.
If you want to play video games all day, do it, man. Universal basic income. You can do it. We'll just have a bunch of esports players.
Yeah, true.
You know? And then the people that are actually working are the people that are like creating the gaming for the esports people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
About that.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that like gaming, making the games, right?
Yeah, it's totally, yeah. And there are people that love just like having a simple life. Maybe they want to work at the gas station, and like, you know, to them it's just all about meeting new people every day and being like, hey, hope you have a great day.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable though to have a universal basic income, since robots will take over our jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah, exactly. Like it's coming.
Yeah.
But when is it going to come?
Yeah. If you go watch CES, they generally have it in the beginning of the month of January, beginning of the year. Yeah, you can see like the changes happening.
Yeah, robots are just gonna do everything.
Yeah, I saw like there's
we're gonna be in Robo World instead of Water World.
There was what was it? Pizza thing.
Just like
putting on
Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's like
Black Mirror.
And it makes sense like why a company would eventually do that, because like it's the portions every time.
Yeah, you could account for better.
Exactly.
See, that's another thing.
Like,
if you take human emotion out of something, you know that the robot's not going to steal.
Yeah.
So everything will be perfectly accounted for. And that's what business people want. They want perfect accounting so they can manage their money accordingly, so they can spend it on better things. Right. They're objective.
Yeah.
They're driven by the laws of the system. That's why you shouldn't have people with philosophy degrees being like presidents and stuff. It makes no sense.
Yeah, go be a teacher or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So until next time, pray for Andrew Yang to become president so that you can stay home and just listen to us and play video games.
Yeah.
Universal basic income is the future. All right. Until next time. Take it easy.
Peace.